願いします。
お願いします。
そう、もろとどり、呼吸な。Okay. Ah, Marianne, come on. Okay. What's going on? Okay. Last week we did we focused on the ukemi side, on uke's work, and tried to explain how to use the body and how to keep the movement fluid and flexible, so that there's a potential of, let's say, challenge or danger for Tori because of the skillful use of body of uke. So when uke is skillfully trained to do a proper ukemi, meaning giving a lot into the connection, keeping him or herself active, following through with the idea of continuously extending the attack, that's super interesting. Because then the challenge is much more interesting for Tori. Because if there would be uke just passive or even worse, stiff or blocking, that's not really an interesting challenge. Because a passive, stiff blocking uke doesn't really attack. It's just in the specific conditions of the aikido training setup that maybe this disturbs Tori's work, but that's all. That's not an attack, right? So here in this class, we start from the same point. We want to be able to use the grasping attack as a, let's say, functional way to take the partner's balance. Now, there is not a clear way to say like who's Tori or uke in this case, but usually uke grasps and then receives the technique, right? But here in this case, we apply the grasp and try to take the partner's balance. Now, of course, there's nothing to do down, because exactly in this direction, you're very stable. And there's nothing to do against you, because it's the same principles like in Aikido for Tori that we use, however, directions and ideas, what makes it possible to do that very simply, to influence the balance simple. Now, it's always the same setup. First, you have to check yourself. Have you been activating your leg work? Have you been expanding your center? Are your shoulders and arms free and not locked? And then, because of you use your body in this way, it's nice to feel the partner and feel where or what feels your body like, and where in your body I feel something what, let's say, makes me alert or interests me. For instance, shoulder, how this is locked, or how it feels the center, how's the weight distribution on your legs, is it on the front or on the back? I can all check that. Even though I just prepare myself and feel you, there is some, let's say, common understanding of how we stand in front of each other. Usually we call that hanmi. So I cannot stand here, because just if I have two hands on your forearm, but I'm in reach of your second free hand, this is not a safe spot. That's why we keep out of this line. Also, because if I'm standing here, I come from both sides, with both hands from the same side, and not contradicting the connection. So here and here, this is like an opposite connection, while here it's identical. Now, for instance, in this position, if you would like to reach out with your hand from behind towards me, it's easy for me to close this line, just by, like putting some stability into my hands. Now, back again. What do I need to use to effect kuzushi with hin-yu? While I start, for instance, taking down my center, there is a reaction. Maybe this reaction brings even something out what is not expected, like this lifting arm. Okay? Now, how can I integrate this lifting arm? How can I integrate the direction of lifting there to effect your kuzushi? That's what I try to analyze in this moment. So it's kind of like a non-verbal language exchange of information in this specific situation. Of course, I try to do this immediately as soon as I grasp. Sometimes we take some more time and study how to apply the body. Now you can do it immediately, the other side, so you connect to your partner. Now, first, it's just the result of the influence is going downwards. Now, I said it before, it feels a little bit like Kokyo because my center applies this movement. You can also try to apply your idea of irimi, for instance, after connecting, stepping inwards. Or making a counter movement like kaishi. So you first introduce a forward movement, but then suddenly, as soon as you're changing your weight, then I redirect it. Or what you also could do is turning as an influence, or even pivoting around Tenkan Ho ideas. Okay? So check yourself. Check how's your legs, how's your center, how's your shoulders. Feel the partner, and then apply your understanding of Kuzushi. Okay? Try again. Change partner. Ich greife dich an.
Aber eigentlich ist ja dann auch sofort noch ein anderer Impuls von mir, wenn du mich angreifst. Also ich warte ja nicht irgendwie
Ja,
ewig ab.
ich greife jetzt, genauso. Aber wenn man das so schnell wieder anfängt, in schnellerer Abfolge zu senden, dann ändert sich eigentlich sofort alles, genau.
Ja.
Aber jetzt geht es erstmal nur um das Auflösen von Ukes Möglichkeiten. Fertig?
Mit der Reaktion bis hin, wenn man angreift. Da fängt das doch erst an.
Okay. お願いします。 Okay. Okay, so of course that's a preparation. Again, it's about the skills of Wuke. We are actually trying to set up a functional idea for the grasping attack. It's not just standing or holding or trying to rest or resist, but it's active kind of idea. Now, still preparation. Later, of course, we bring that all together in the one moment of meeting. But to check what's the potential of the meeting, because you mentioned, isn't it just something like responding, and isn't it difficult or normal that we respond? Exactly. Now we take it away, this what we have usually in the training, and try to build from scratch, let's say. For instance, if I train to take the Morotodori and take your balance, I don't want you to reach out to me like it happened to us when we were practicing. I just come and we start from zero. So there's no activity here. Now I do an action what influences your body. Okay, this was the basic setup. It's not that you reach out to me and there's already some reaction. Of course, I study and feel how he interacts with my influence, what's his response, and how to respond again to that, and so on. But it becomes very difficult or very complex then already. Now, Tori, how to react to that? And I always try to do that as simple as possible. So if I know my partner can influence my balance, I let that happen, and I drive, or let me drive to the point where he leads my balance. So of course, in this case, it made me collapse the front, so I just follow there. And even though it looks maybe artificial, I don't disturb this effect. I don't want to stop it or hold against it. To secure my stance. Okay, in this practice, it's forbidden. Again, it's just a preparation. It's not yet martial art, whatever, aikido technique or kata. No. Please just recognize what happens if the partner takes these connections and you follow there. Now, obviously, the display is already so great. Before in the practice, when I don't react to anything, of course, he takes my balance, and then at some point, I take ukemi, I sit down or roll or go on the ground. Now, my only reaction is, if I feel I must step, I come to the point he leads me to, and I try to recollect my body. Usually, if we are stolpern, stumbling, if we are stumbling, we tend, or a reflex is to relax the knees so that they come back onto the point of gravity. That's what we actually use. So let's see what he does. Okay, there I come. And even whichever direction it is, maybe it's to the opposite side. Not yet, but now, and I come there. That's all to do now. Okay? Let's go. Deine Bewegungsrichtung war jetzt im Prinzip genau in die Beinstütze und du musstest unglaublich viel Kraft aufwenden, um das also darüber hinwegzukommen. Aber es gibt andere Richtungen, die sind total einfach. Ja. Was du halt jetzt versuchst, ist vor allen Dingen mit den Händen und den Armen und mit einer Art Ziehen zu agieren. Aber wenn du dich strukturell da besser hinter aufstellst, dann kannst du meinen ganzen Körper in die Richtung führen. Das wäre genau in das Bein. Das ist auch ziemlich genau in das Bein. Ah, genau. Dahin. Oder? An der gleichen Stelle. Die Richtung, oder? Okay. Genau. Das musst du herausfinden, in welche Richtung ich keine Stütze habe. Weil sonst musst du wahnsinnig viel Kraftaufwand betreiben, der einfach zu unterbinden ist. Ja. Richte dich auf. Okay. Die Richtung ist relativ gut gestützt. Okay, die ist nicht schlecht.
Es ist auch, wie ich dann noch sehr leicht greife, um das zu halten. Das ist ein bisschen so. Wenn ich aber auch sehr stark greifen würde, wäre das dann noch präsenter, also sowas?
Ja, kannst du machen, ruhig, ganz stark. Das unterscheidet nichts von der Mechanik, die mich bewegt. Ne? Egal wie stark, wie viel Kraftaufwand im Griff ist.
Ja, aber vielleicht bin ich dadurch so komisch.
Die Richtung ist gut. Da ist besser. Ja.
Nee, ist irgendwie klarer.
Hey. Okay. Okay, good. Of course, that's an example for the feeling of the flip over from uke to tori. In this case, we use these terms from the one partner to the other. The one influences kuzushi or loss of balance, and the one who receives this balance, this energy, takes a position and puts the body into a kind of charge, what affects the loss of balance to the first one. That was the idea. This kind of feeling is very good because probably every one of you could feel, if you're just waiting for the influence of the first partner who takes the Morotodori grasp and tries to inflict kuzushi. If you wait, you can be fully relaxed. You know, there's nothing to do. So you don't have to have strong arms or secure your stance. You just wait for the influence because it's a calm and easy and nice practice. Now, this was the first idea, right? So I don't do anything special. I just wait. It's your practice how to connect to yourself and to which direction to make me move. And there I follow, and I just, well, lower my center. But all the body is relaxed still, okay? Even though I let drop my arm downwards, I don't try to lock my shoulders and push downwards. It's just, I wait until there is some influence of balance, and there I go. Naturally, my arm falls towards my center if it falls down. So this moment, what creates the kuzushi to the first attacker is what I feel or I like to describe as the moment of kuzushi or aiki, awase. That was one of the core principles of aikido, using the energy of the partner. Now, of course, this is just a preparation. But this kind of potential or exchange or coming together is meant when we're meeting each other with a Morotodori. And even though it doesn't express in a big form outside, this happens. If uke doesn't bring the potential of a functional grasping, what could in effect my balance, there's no real reason to work. I mean, of course, we could just say, like, let's play a little bit or do some kata form. But it would be then maybe feeling a little bit empty. There's no reason I should need to bring you down. But if you have the potential and you're immediately connected to what's my whole body, I feel there's a different kind of, let's say, alertness necessary. And all I do is relax and lower my center. So when you now come together and the grasp, the first moment of attaching the hands comes, I'm sure you have the potential to take my balance. So I relax and lower my center. Shall we try? So this is what happens then. From the first moment, the one who really wants to attack has or sees herself or himself in a situation of starting kuzushi. Now, of course, I prepare myself. I'm not like this, because then I can't do that. But I'm also not trying to, let's say, fight against it. I just lower my center and keep arms soft. Okay. One more time. So please get into this kind of feeling. You attack and you're immediately called. Your feet are not free to move as you want. Sometimes it's more like downwards, sometimes it's more like forward. Now I'm resting mainly on this hand with my elbow. Now I'm resting more in this hand with the back of my hand. So this can change, but the effect to uke is immediately a change of balance and then kind of inability to move one of both feet. Okay? Try that. show that. Ah, okay. I think we have to work on that. So maybe it's my bad explanation. Now, I'm reaching out to you. You take Morotodori. And you should have the potential to take my balance. Do you think you have?
No.
Okay, that's the situation. Now, I need to wait because there's no reason for me to do anything if I don't feel that threat of being taken out of balance. So, for instance, now, either you try to put more energy or attention in your grasping. Now you try to start to do something, but whatever happened didn't even affect something in my body. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. If this happens, of course, it's not necessary to do anything. And that's the difficulty. That's why I'm trying to work on that. If uke has the quality of affecting some change in my body, so I lose my balance, this is what we need to learn and to or find as uke. So feel, if I would come to you, other way around, so we have a better picture for the camera, and I'm coming like this, there's nothing to do for you, right? It's not dangerous. Now, I come again, and you react immediately. Actually, your arm was tightening up.
Yes.
Yeah? It got really like hard or stiff. Not bad. It's just like it is. Now, from the outside, there was no difference. You couldn't see a difference in my body posture, right? I do it again, the first. And now I do the second. Okay? What I show from outside is the same. But you felt a great difference, right?
Yes.
The second one I want you to do. Because then it's necessary for me to be alert. If you just come and grasp and then cautiously try to find something, I have to wait. And I wait until I feel you're fully connected by your whole body with my whole body. If that is not there, yeah, okay, as I already said, it's fine. We can make an appointment for a movement together, and we could teach you how to do the ukemi, so which movement model you have to practice, and we join that, and then by this we can learn a lot. But now it's about the feeling of the connection and the functional, let's say, work in it. So please connect with your whole body to my whole body. Yes, of course you can do. So if this potential is there, of course I need to be alert and I take it. So that's why immediately you get the position. This is a very, very fine and difficult thing. But the quality now of your grasping and your understanding of how to connect is so much more interesting and so much more challenging for me. But it's not a question if you can make me move or I can bring you down. That's not the case. It's not a comparison of force. It's just something like really connecting. And then we feel automatically the idea of ukemi, the receiver who intends to give a grasp, receives something what makes him impossible to move freely, for instance. And by that, Tori comes into the lead of your off-balancing. This is the idea, to share that. It's not a question of could we do that or should we do it? Are you able to? What if I don't do? It's not. Please, you take my balance immediately. Okay, that's why I need to adopt that. So, immediately, that's why you receive kuzushi. If I don't react, you got me. And you can continue if you want. Yeah, we continue, okay. Now maybe I react immediately, I don't know. Maybe I'm lazy, or I missed the timing, okay. But now I react to that. So don't give up your idea as uke. This is a strange way to grasp rotadori, but I know it's more easy than to take my balance. Thank you. Yes. Okay, we try that. Also, change partner. Hi, okay. Okay, finally. Now all this, what happens, comes into the one and first moment of connection. And then we use this into this form. Hai, 息をどうぞ。
Aufbauperiode oder so. Geschafft, ja.
Hi, 終わります。ありがとうございました。So next week, Monday, there's no training because of Easter. Also for the YouTubers, happy Easter next week. So, see you.
Samstag ist kein Training.
Samstag ist auch kein Training. Ja, kein Samstagtraining diese Woche.
Und Freitag auch nicht.
Freitag ist ja Karfreitag, da ist ja sowieso zu.